Hey YouTube, one guy's take on movies here, and if you've ever wondered, like I did a few times in my life, what would it be like if you could see a live action adaptation of Thor and Spider-Man having a sea adventure? Well, In the Heart of the Sea is the movie you should see. However, don't expect to see any web slinging or hammer smashing. Nope. No hammer smashing in this movie whatsoever, so be prepared to travel aboard an old sailboat that would now be over 100 years old. And what happens on a whale hunt? Because that's what Chris Hemsworth and Tom Holland do. This is a story that's inspired by true story. That's what the movie says, but I don't really know much about Moby Dick to know how true or not true this is. So I'm gonna take it with a grain of salt and believe the movie makers. So this is a story about Mr. Melville who hears about this story about a whaling ship and this accident that they were in and their trip back home, and he wants to write a story about it. These are in 1800s, and that's the only form of content and entertainment at the time. So he goes out and searches for what we find out is the last remaining member of the crew of that ship who knows this story, but he never told anyone about it. Like he's he's the last guy who knows what happened. And if you read Moby Dick or saw any of the previous installments of any of the Moby Dick movies, which I haven't seen, nor have I read the book, I can tell you with utmost certainty that you will not see Captain Ahab in this movie. What you're also not going to see is Captain Ahab sailing with his boat and chasing a big white whale. There is nothing like that in this movie. Well, not in the manner that you would expect. It's a different telling of a well-known book story. So what happens is Chris Hemsworth and Tom Holland go on a ship. They're whalers. That's what they do for a living, and they end up stranded in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. And what we are told, and that's pretty much the whole movie. That and Mr. Melville finding out about what actually happened. All of these characters could have been played by other actors. There is nothing that this is a dramatic movie. It's not an adventure as you would expect. It's like, I guess I could compare it to Master and Commander with Russell Crowe and Jude Law that came out a few years ago, but that was a different time of movie. That was like a warship, and this is a whaling ship. So there's that difference, but it's set in pretty much the same or similar time. And acting's great, story's good. It's not a bad movie, but it's not a great movie either. It's on a scale of 1 to 10, I give it a 7 because it's not a movie that would appeal to everyone. So if you're looking for fun adventure, this is a movie you should be seeing. You should go and see something else because this movie will bore you out and you will wonder where your money went. However, that's not to say that you won't enjoy this movie at all, but I think this type of movie, like, you have to like these types of movie to begin with. I mean, the cinematography is great, acting is great. There's like two Game of Thrones actors here, so there's a bunch of other unknown actors, and it's a pretty solid movie with a pretty solid story, and it does its job good. It's definitely a story worth being told, and I enjoyed it. Drop a comment, share it. See you next week. Peace out.